So, Crystal, tell me a little bit about your sound. How would you describe it?
Oh gosh, that seems like such a simple question, doesn't it? It's ever evolving, I think. I would say at this point in time, it's primarily a mix of soul and swing falling underneath the jazz umbrella, heavily gospel and R&B influenced, also very jazz influenced over the years. It's kind of always been a hodgepodge of things.
It's nice. I love it. It's amazing your music. So, who are some of your influences in terms of music?
Well, growing up, I listened to a lot of Ella Fitzgerald and Billie Holiday and Michael Jackson and Aretha Franklin and Shaka Khan and Pat Benatar. And that's, again, sort of a weird mix of things. And honestly, today, I still listen to all of those same artists for sure. But I've added in people like Layla Hathaway and there's a band from Australia called the Hiatus Coyote that I'm obsessed with, and a young singer named Yeba, who I think is amazing. So pulling in these kind of newer sounds and vibes to add to my all my old influences that still inspire.
And what are some of the themes you describe on your new album, Together We Can?
Oh gosh, I mean, it's a collaborative effort. So it's all songs that are with other people. So some are duets, some are trios, there's a quartet, like it's just a lot of merging of voices. And so musically, it's along the same lines of everything I've described. Like it's a little bit of this and it's a little bit of that, just in terms of, ooh, this is very sort of jazz leaning, but also very soulful, this one, or very traditional sounding, this one. And the themes are really similar in terms of the lyrical content. It's a lot about togetherness. It's a lot about romantic love, but also platonic love. I have a song about my mom that I sing with my kids. So like it's about being together in whatever various forms that looks like for all of us.
Nice. And do you have a typical songwriting process that you have, or do you need music when you create your lyrics? How does that work?
Oh gosh, it's always a little bit different. I do consider myself a musician in the general sense, given that I grew up with a musician as a mother and was in piano lessons at age 3, 4, singing starting at 5. So I've been around music my whole life. I speak the language, but not as fluently as I would like. So unfortunately, I don't play an instrument the way I would like to. I can understand like the theory and have the conversations with the musicians, but I am not a player. So that affects my writing process. So often, I would say probably more often than not, lyrics for whatever reason come first. And I'll have an idea when I'm out walking or whatever, doing anything, and I'll start writing it down, start fleshing out the idea and making it make sense on paper. And usually somewhere in that process, a melody comes into play as well. And I often will sit with another musician or producer who has a little bit better handle on just the musical aspect of things. And we'll sit and I'll sing things to them, and they'll help me start to kind of like, make it make more sense. But the process itself, it just varies. It just depends on the song and the, whatever's happening in life at the time.
Nice. And you did mention a lot of amazing collaborations you have. I mean, Flannery, Tori Kelly, Ty Herndon. Tell me about how those came to be.
Well, primarily I chose people to be involved in this project because they were my friends, number one. And number two, I love them, not past tense. I love them as vocalists and artists themselves. So Ty and I became friends a few years ago. Kate and I became friends a few years ago. Tori and I became friends a few years ago. And when I started to write and just kind of curate songs for this project, I chose songs with people in mind, and I chose people with songs in mind. And so it just was like I was watching all these pieces of the puzzle kind of inch toward each other. But I can't stress enough how much I love the voices of the people that are on this record. They're just such special artists in their own rights.
Beautiful. And you do have another collaboration with your single, I Can't Help It, with Charles Jones. Tell me a little bit about the song and the inspiration behind that incredible video. I loved it.
Thank you. So Charles is a friend. He began as a friend of a friend, and we ended up connecting, sheesh, maybe 4 years ago,
Okay.
maybe longer. Actually, it was probably around 2017, I want to say 16, 17. And he is just an absolute joy to listen to be around, to talk to work with. And when I started thinking about this record, I Can't Help It is a song. It's a Michael Jackson song originally. It was written by Stevie Wonder, actually, who never recorded it, but it was on Michael's Off the Wall album. That album came out in 1979. I was 9 years old. I've been listening to that song since then. No, I'm sorry, I was 10 years old. I've been listening to that song my entire childhood, teenage, adult life. It's one of my all-time favorites. And for some reason, Charles and that song just came to me at the same time, like, one of my favorite people, one of my favorite songs. It'd be so great. And so we recorded it. We actually were able to perform it live a handful of times. And then we recorded it in person together last year. And so that's the video is all just footage of us getting to perform it together. So I just feel like that song was never a duet, but it is now. And I love that we did that together.
I do too. That's just had to be an incredible opportunity for you both. So, what other songs on the album hold a special place in your heart, and why are they so significant to you?
Well, let's see. Oh gosh, they each have such special meaning, especially the ones that I wrote, of course. But I will say that the one that I wrote and one that I didn't write that are so special for similar reasons. One is Side by Side, which is the song with Kate Flannery. It's an old song written in the 20s. So many people have done it over the years. And I grew up singing it with my sisters. And my mom playing the piano. So I have known that song again the majority of my life. It's one of my favorites. The other song is called I Won't Forget You. And I wrote that for my mom, about my mom who has Alzheimer's. And she is now living in a memory care facility. That transition took place less than 2 years ago. So we've been on this journey for a while, my sisters and I, but it's also the decline. It's like so slow going. Anyone who's had someone in their family with Alzheimer's knows it can take a really long time. But then all of a sudden, for us anyways, the decline, it really dipped. And that's when we decided she needed more care than what we were able to provide. And so I took her to the facility. Both of my sisters, they live elsewhere, and it fell to me to do it. And as we were walking into the facility and I was getting ready to hand her off to a nurse, and she was going to walk down this hallway to her new place of living, which was not in the house with us anymore. She looked at me, and she can be very sassy, my mom, and very sarcastic and very funny. And she looked at me kind of like with her over her shoulder a little bit and gave me this little like flirty shoulder shrug and was like, "Don't forget me." And it was so crazy because she did not understand what she was saying. It was kind of like, I think at that point she thought we were coming back later that day to pick her up or something. But the fact that she would say, "Don't forget me," when she's forgotten so much, and the reality that we'll never forget her. But we don't know if we'll wind up like that. We being me, my sisters, my kids, my dad, And so the song was really written from that perspective of, I don't plan on forgetting you, but I also don't know what the future holds. And I don't know if I'll find myself in this position someday. And I might forget you, but whether I do or not, we are bound together in our hearts. And so that's what the song is about. Since this was a duets record, I had to find someone to sing that song with, and I couldn't think of anyone else other than my two kids, who are both married and in their 20s and amazing musicians and artists and songwriters themselves. And we were able to record the song, the three of us together, up in Montana, where my son lives. And it was just one of the, like, if that was the only reason I did the record, was to be able to have that experience, it was worth it for me. It was really, really special.
It's beautiful. It's definitely one of my favorites on the album. And what do you hope people take away from listening and exploring the album?
Well, I mean, I think the hope of any artist, and I've always said this, that my one big hope is that listeners connect with a song. More than one song, yes, that's great. But the hope is that one song will meet somebody where they are, will resonate deeply in their hearts. It will attach itself to a moment in time and become a part of the fabric of their memories, of their life experience. And so that is ultimately my hope for this song, is that they're all so different. Like I said, you've got a friendship song, you've got a romantic love song, you have a family song, you have a social justice song. Like, there's a lot going on, and I don't expect every single song to resonate as deeply, with every single person, but I hope that people walk away after listening to it with a sense of renewed desire to connect with other people, to believe in the idea that together is better, that we can, be a beautiful community, and love each other, and I don't know, work through things with patience and grace for each other.
I love it. And are you going to be going on tour to promote the album?
That remains to be seen. I'm an independent artist. I do everything myself. I don't have a booking agent at this point in time, so we'll see how things evolve and transpire after the album comes out. And that's the hope. The hope is that I can take this on the road and be able to do live performances places other than in Southern California, because right now that's kind of my primary place of residence for sure, but also I do a lot of gigs here, and I would love to do more outside of the state of California. So we'll see. I hope so.
And who are some people you want to collaborate with in the future?
Ooh, that's a great question, because I haven't thought about that. I've just been so, like, in deep, with these projects. There were a handful of people that it didn't work out to sing with. Um, gosh, down the road, gosh, I don't even know. Let's see. India.Arie is somebody who I love and would love to do something with. CC Winans is somebody who's been a long time influence for me vocally, and so I've sung with her before, but we've never recorded together. I wouldn't mind singing with, like, let's say Bruno Mars, that sort of thing. Yeah, I don't know. I have to give that some more thought.
Nice. And before I let you go, what would you like to say to all your fans and supporters who have been following your incredible music?
Oh, that's a beautiful question, actually. I would like to just say thank you, because I've been doing this a very long time. I haven't done the math recently, but I mean, I started in high school and I'm 52 years old. So I've been doing this at 30 plus years. And I've changed lanes a few times, and I've changed gears, and I've pushed down walls that felt like boxes to me. And that's not always easy for listeners to, I don't know, to accept sometimes. And so I'm so grateful and so delighted that, I would say, the majority of my fans and supporters have just stuck around. And I did a Kickstarter to fund this record. Actually, my last 3 records have been Kickstarter funded. So grateful for those supporters who have enabled me to continue and make a living making music. So thank you. That's all I want to say.
Beautiful.